Hello there again. Uh, just sorting this. I've got my. I always do these talks with my iPad. You've probably seen in the pictures of mine my Apple Macintosh computer, but I don't really do my talks or my work on there. I use my computer at night. This relates to my talk actually. You know, I listen to audiobooks and all different kind of stuff on YouTube. And that's related to this talk. You know, I spend a lot of my time on my own. And it's always been that way. And it goes back to my childhood. There's a lot of times I was on my own. When I was in school, I was the loner. And probably everybody else couldn't understand. But the way it is I never felt alone. That's the thing. I'm watching a movie just now. That's one of the things I'm watching at night. And it's about a guy who's lost his wife and he's actually talking to his... People think he's talking to himself, but he's actually talking to his ex-wife. It's actually his ex-wife. And so that's... It's like someone Ralph Smart says that we are never alone. The universe always sends somebody. You see, and he also says that the strongest people are alone, yeah. And why is it that I couldn't be bothered with people from a very young age? Because I could sense. You know? The people that spend a lot of time in solitude, well, for in my case, it was a situation where I sussed people out very quickly. And I realised that they were a waste of time. And apparently a lot of philosophers from, I don't know how many years ago, but lots of years ago said things similar. I don't know everybody's names, but some things I've been watching on YouTube have been talking about philosophers from many years ago. And some of them didn't even believe in romance. I believe in romance if it's with the right person, but it's also got to fit into your lifestyle as well. In my case, you know, like a woman asked me that last week, and I says, well, everything revolves around this spiritual awakening journey. You see, if for example, I'm not going to have anything to do with any woman that's going to bring me dis-ease, you know, stress or anything like that. I'm just not interested. And because I like being alone, it's not something I'm frightened of. Most people get with people because they're frightened to be alone. And so they just go from one relationship to the next, and they've never actually spent any time alone, and that's what they're really running from. So they'll just go with anybody. They'll just go with anybody. But yeah, and now, I mean, this alone thing, it's been since I was a child. It's been since I was a child, and it's always been that way. And lately I've been realizing that this alone thing is absolute peace, is absolute harmony, meaning it's absolute love. That's my dog, in case you didn't know what that noise was. Oh no, it's the cats. They're playing with his toy. We've got kittens just now, and they're playing with his pig toy, I think. But yeah, but back to the topic, to what I'm talking about. Yeah, once you start spend time alone, what I've realised over nearly 34 years of life now, is that being alone, solitude, is actually absolute peace, absolute harmony. No one's bothering you, right? And it's everything I could ever want. You see, most people when they get into relationships with people, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that moment of absolute peace. You see, but what they're actually searching for is already here. Without anybody, I'm not saying not to. I mean, I'm not one of these philosophers that's against romance or women, or I'm not against it. I'm not against it, but I've found something very special in my life now, which makes me think, you know what? I want to keep this. Like I keep saying that to my mum. I'm actually a carer for my mum. My mum's got diabetes and other illnesses, and I'm a registered carer. And it was obviously written in the stars before I was born, because I believe that your life is maybe planned before you're born, and I was obviously meant to do that. And that's not me trying to virtue signal, try to say I'm a carer for my mum. I just bring it up in conversation, so you get a better idea of the kind of person that I am. You know, so it gets a bit more personal in the talk. But I tell it, I'm very open about it. But no, I'm not a virtue signaler. Virtue signaling is pathetic. I'm not going to go off topic here, but, you know, rubbing their hands with hand sanitizer and looking around, that's virtue signaling. Looking around them to see if anyone else can see. Oh my God. I'm not going to talk about that because it's not important. Well, it is important, but I'm not talking about that today. Yeah, but back to what I'm talking about. Yeah, spending time alone has always been the thing for me. All the way up throughout my whole life. And it was trying to teach, what it was teaching me was that that's where the power is. And like I was saying about me being a carer for my mum, you know, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but it has to be someone that is very caring to have this job. You know, and that's just it. And also caring is related to solitude, because solitude is love. Solitude is unconditional love, because solitude loves you no matter what you do. No matter what you do, it's always loving you no matter what you do. Solitude. It forgives you whatever you do, and that is a teacher for what the real divine angelic love is. You see? And I think the thing is, for a lot of people, is surrendering to that. A lot of people are scared of it, and the reason they're scared of spending time alone is because they don't want to face their demons. They don't want to face themselves. That's why so many people go through so many different partners. You get women that they have a kid to different guys, and some guys think they're cheap, when actually I don't think that. I just think that they're scared to face themselves, so they don't want to be alone, so they've got to have someone there. And it's all about just surrendering to what is, and surrendering to solitude, and trying to, when you're alone, not jumping up and having a nervous breakdown, but opening up to it. And then you'll see that it's actually absolute peace. It's everything you could ever want. It's harmony, absolute peace. And it's just you. And then you realise, as I did, that that's all you ever need. You see? You don't need tons of people around you, you know. Everything you need is right here by yourself. And that's why I like spending time alone. You know, what I like to do sometimes is just sit and let any thoughts or whatever come out, and you get to know yourself more and more when you spend time alone. You know, my mum she goes to dialysis, which is treatment for kidney failure. And so I'm here alone. I know, that's always been the case. When I was younger, my mum would do psychic shows. I don't know if that contributed to the illnesses. Other people can be the judge of that. She used to do psychic. She's a psychic as well, and medium as well. And there was a lot of time I was in hotel room by myself, all along the way in school, like I said earlier. And the awakening came, the spiritual awakening came at 24 because I just surrendered to it, and I had enough. Had enough of wanting, the pain that was all the way up to that, and then I just had enough and opened up to this, which is just you. And then I started to go through this awakening path, realizing that this is all that is. There isn't anything else. Because then I started to dwell on the fact that everything has to come from nothing. Nothingness is all of infinity, so there can only be one. Then I found out, obviously by fate, through the YouTube, a few years into my awakening, that Buddhism talked about nothingness as well, and because I thought I was crazy. I was scared what people would think. Now I don't care. And it was because I just surrendered to the solitude. When actually I was taking drugs, drinking alcohol, on dating sites as well, when I was younger as well. Everything and anything to escape myself. Then when I was actually with a lassie, I started to embrace the solitude more, because that was a few years after the awakening. And that's what it's all been about. It's all about alone. There's a power there, a divine power. And it was always trying to show me that. And now, like I keep saying to my mum, and on these talks, that I don't want to lose what I've got here. I've got something very special in being alone, and that's what I intend to keep. You see? That's what I intend to keep. And what I intend to do as well, I've got a website and sharing this knowledge about power of being alone, well, many other things, but it's the being alone that really gives me the power. It's the being alone where I get all the downloads. It's the being alone where I get all the knowledge and insight. Because like I say, solitude is the teacher. Being alone, like I say, you can do anything bad, or what the world thinks is bad, but the solitude loves you no matter what you do. And that's the teacher of what divine love really is. And so that's the teacher. And that teaches you to be heart-based. And that is scientifically proven now, that you can heal your whole body by being like that. So, but being alone is the teacher. So you have to just open up and surrender to that and embrace it and let it teach you. That's the divine right there. But I'm just going to leave it there. For latest updates, talks, news, research, and much, much more, please do check my website at www.lovelightfamily.com. Thank you.